Welcome to virtual class of mathematics. My name is Sheikh ARIF AHAMMAD, ZPHS Sudapalli. I am working as school assistant mathematics. So in this session, we are going to discuss how to get maximum marks in SSC public examinations, which are going to be held in March 2025. So already our sir has explained some basics, some strategies yesterday. So to give them touch up, I am going to explain some more methods, some more strategies in this class. Okay, let us start the class. Definitions. If you see either 1 mark or 2 mark questions, every time one definition has been asked. There is a possibility of getting formula in all the chapters. Recently in SA1, they asked what is the sum of n terms of AP and explain each term in it. Like that, throughout the textbook, I have gathered some formulae where the student will learn the formula and he must know what is the each variable represent. What each variable represent in that formula. First, quadratic formula. Ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Formula minus b plus or minus, like that. Next, sum of n terms of AP. Recently asked question. Sum of n terms of AP. These 3 questions, I think every student has learned these 3 questions. Mean of a group of data, median of a group of data, mode of a group of data. We can expect this type of questions, remaining questions. What is the area of sector? And explain each term in it. Students, can you say what is the area of sector? Okay. Next, LSA, TSA and volume of these 6 combinations. Cube, cuboid, cylinder, cone, sphere, hemisphere. If the students will practice these tables, they will get 1 mark or 2 marks questions as you have seen, and for 4 marks also they may ask. It is not compulsory that every time only these 3 problems should come. Mean, median, mode. They can ask any formula. Last one. Expressing the trigonometric ratios and their values. This type of questions. Express tan A in terms of sin A and cos A. Express cosecant A in terms of sin A and cos A. This type of questions, these are also comes under communication. Trigonometric ratio values also. Practice the table. So all these concepts will come under communication. So before going to mind map of each chapter, once again let us go to communication. What is meant by communication? So notation form to sentence form, verbal form, or verbal form to notation form. So these are all formulae. Suppose median m is equal to L plus n by 2 minus Cf by f of h. Writing this formula, we can get 2 marks. If you explain each letter, you will get remaining 2 marks. Similarly, if the situation is given, suppose 3 balls and 5 bats cost 3000 rupees. 7 balls and 8 bats together cost 5500. They have given one simple situation and they are asking us to write pair of linear equations in 2 variables. These type of questions frequently they are asking. Why? Because they have to convert that academic standard. It's very easy. 3 bats, 5 bats. Just you write one extra step. Let the cost of 1 ball rupees X, cost of 1 bat rupees Y. That's all. Next step, 3x plus 5y is equal to 3000. Give it as equation 1. 7x plus 8y is equal to 5500. Equation 2. That's all. Enough. No need to solve. That's why understanding the question is very important. Some students will solve this type of problems. They asked us to just represent in the form of pair of linear equations in 2 variables. So you have to do up to here only. No need to solve. Sometimes they will give one single situation. What is that? 3 pens and 4 pencils together cost 100 rupees. Represent in the form of linear equation in 2 variables. So only one situation is given. So in one mark question they will ask simple questions like this. So just 3x plus 4y is equal to 100. So we can expect communication problems from this chapter, pair of linear equations in 2 variables. Next, quadratic equations. Quadratic equations. So if you observe quadratic equations, it's very important chapter. Almost in each exercise, there are 3 exercises. First exercise, first Roman. All the problems will come under our competency reasoning. Check. Whenever check word is there, that is taken as reasoning. We have to say after doing the complete calculation whether it is quadratic equation or not. So first Roman, all the problems will come under reasoning. Now our target is second Roman. First exercise, second Roman, there are 4 problems. You check the common heading. Represent the following situations as quadratic equations. Some students last before year they have solved that equation also. It is not necessary. What is given, what we have to find, is it enough? This is called cross checking. So here some simple questions are there. If you see length and breadth of a rectangle is given, breadth is x, length is some twice the breadth and 1 more than the breadth, area is some 306 like that. You have to simplify and you have to represent in the form of quadratic equation. Second model, consecutive numbers. So consecutive numbers, consecutive even numbers, consecutive odd numbers. These 3 concepts students should learn. What is meant by consecutive numbers? The numbers which will follow immediately other. 2. After 2, 3 will come. 3. After 3, 4 will come. These type of numbers are consecutive numbers. Consecutive numbers are added 1 to their previous number. 2 consecutive numbers, x and x plus 1. 3 consecutive numbers, x, x plus 1, x plus 2. Consecutive even numbers. Check the even numbers. 2, 4, 6, 8. How much they are increasing? By 2. So we take the consecutive even numbers as x, x plus 2, x plus 4, still x plus 6 like that. Odd numbers 1, 3, 5. Here also they are increased by 2. So we also take x, x plus 2, x plus 4 only. So consecutive even numbers, consecutive odd numbers, same pattern. Consecutive numbers just by adding 1. If they ask the product of 2 consecutive numbers, we multiply these 2. Product of 2 consecutive odd numbers, we multiply these 2. Like this, basic should be kept very thoroughly in the student's mind so that they can answer any type of question. Not only textbook question, they may ask out of textbook also. But concept will be from textbook. Next, third one. Third one, ages problem. Rohan and his mother. Here only 2 things. Suppose present is x or x. After, hence. So these type of words they should understand. Hence means after. We have to add x plus 7. Ago, before. Ago, before. What should do? We have to subtract x minus 5. 5 years ago. This is the present age. 5 years hence. 5 years before, ago, x minus 5. 7 years hence. From now onwards, 7 years after. So x plus 7. Next one question is there. That is trying problem. Not only math concepts, so many physics concepts also covered. Time, distance, speed. So in the 4th problem, one trying problem is there. There we have to use one formula. Time is equal to distance by speed. So this type of four questions, these four questions can be covered under communication. So communication questions will be taken most probably 95% from pair of linear equations and quadratic equations. Okay. Let us go to mind map of the entire textbook, chapter wise. Chapter wise, if you go through, so the first chapter is real numbers. In real numbers, what is given in the textbook, what we have to learn. You see, actually these theorems were there in previous textbook, but here root 2 and root 3 irrational numbers. Not only root 2 and root 3, we have to practice all prime numbers. Root 2, root 3, root 5, root 7, root 11. This concept. Other than 8 marks question, this concept is asked for 1 mark and 2 marks. LCM and HCF. Next, composite number. Fundamental theorem of arithmetic. Writing the given numbers as product of primes. So to learn this topic, the students have to practice so many things. First of all, prime numbers. If they don't know prime numbers, half of the chapter they cannot do. Prime number which have one and itself as factors. So at least they must know first 8 prime numbers. Students, can you tell me first 8 prime numbers? Raise your hands, those who know 8 prime numbers, first 8 prime numbers. Okay. 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, 23, 29. At least these prime numbers should be in your mind. If you don't know these prime numbers, what will happen? You cannot do prime factorization. Prime factorization model problems you cannot do. Second thing, LCM and HCF. To find these two things also, you must know how to prime factorize a given number. If you don't know prime factorization, you cannot do this one. You cannot do this one, you cannot check the relationship between LCM and HCF is equal to product of two given numbers. Only one concept, you are missing 3 concepts, 3 model of problems. So, practice more in prime factorization. If you have done prime factorization perfectly, you can do all these type of problems. Why? This is our golden chapter. So 1 mark question, 2 marks question and 8 marks question. So simply, and I have written 2 numbers A and B. How to find LCM, how to find HCF. Already we did prime factorization. After doing prime factorization, now how to find LCM? Anybody? LCM of A and B. Okay. First we have to check the common bases, prime numbers. Here 2, here also base 2. L. Actually, what is the abbreviation of L? Least common multiple. L means least, opposite highest. LCM abbreviation L means least. We have to take highest power of common powers. In these 2 common powers, which is highest? 7 and 8. Which is highest? 8. So 2 power 8. Next, here base 3, here also base 3. Here power 5, here 3 power 2, 3 square. Which is greater? Obviously 5. That's all? No. LCM of 2 given numbers is the product of highest powers of common bases and the remaining terms. These 2 are remaining. Here we don't know power of 7, here we don't know power of 11. Those terms also you have to write here into 7 power 9 into 11. This is the way to find the LCM. L means least, we have to take highest powers. Least, highest powers. And the remaining terms also. Similarly, HCF. HCF of two given numbers. H means highest. Highest opposite, lowest. Only common numbers you have to check. 2 power 7, 2 power 8. Which is the smallest power? 7. 2 power 7. 3 power 5 into 3 square. 3 square. In HCF, we don't write remaining terms. Only in LCM, we will write remaining terms. HCF, just we write the least powers of common bases, that's all. And we will multiply them, we will get the answer. So these type of questions they are asking frequently for 2 marks. Next concept, this formula, LCM and HCF. LCM of, suppose LCM of two numbers, 12 and 18 is 36. Find HCF. So to do this problem, you should not do 12 and 18 prime factors, and in this method you have to do. Specifically, they have given LCM already. You have used the relation LCM into HCF is equal to number 1 into number 2. So 12 into 18, product of numbers. LCM is 36. HCF we don't know H. By simplifying, you have to do. So these concepts, you can do these problems when you know prime numbers. Next concept, 5, 6. Two numbers are given. How to factorize? 5. No number will divide, just we write 1 into 5. 6. We write 2 into 3. Nothing is in common. Then what should do? So HCF means these type of numbers are called co-primes. This co-primes concept is very, very important while proving root 2, root 3, root 5 also. There shouldn't be any common factor. If there is no common factor means you should not write 0. Nothing is there means I can write 2 into 3 into 1 also. 1 is universal factor. So HCF is 1. LCM 5 into 2 into 3. So this type of models students have to practice. Why? Because these are the limited chapters to get maximum marks. Next one, 11 into 13 into 5 plus 11 into 13 into 2. These model problems show that it is a composite number. Composite means not prime. The numbers which have more than 2 factors. So just we have to take common thing, 11 into 13 of here 5 plus 2, 11 into 13 into 5 plus 2, 7. So this is the product of 3 prime numbers. So product of 2 or more than 2 prime numbers, that number is definitely a composite number. That's all, by fundamental theorem of arithmetic. So this one, and last but not the least, 4 power n and 6 power n never end with 0. So this type of models, if you cover, we will get maximum marks in this chapter. And for 8 marks questions, students are doing these problems without any hesitation perfectly. Why? These type of problems are show that 6 minus root 3. Compared to these problems, this is very easy. Just we'll assume that it is not an irrational number, it might be rational. Minus root 3 is equal to P by Q. Sometimes some students here minus is there, plus 6 they are writing. Before symbol is plus, so obviously it becomes minus. You keep by 1. Here the problem is coming. Up to here also they are writing perfectly. Here the problem is coming. They are not taking LCM. As we said, butterfly method. Q1 ja Q, P1 ja P, 6Q ja 6Q. This step they are missing. Just they will write just P minus 6 by Q or P minus Q by 6. In different ways they are writing. At least they have to practice this one. So the main concept, we write actually this one as equation 1. Or suppose if you want to transpose this minus here, now we write this one as equation 1. Similarly, this type of problem. This is the third model. We write this one as equal to P by Q. 2 root 5 is equal to P by Q minus 6. What we said? Nothing denominator, 1. No power, 1. No coefficient, 1. 1 is universal number. Any number into 1, same number. Any number by 1, same number. Any number power 1, same number. So nothing means we can write 1. Q1 Q, P1 P, 6 into Q, 6Q. This is 2 into root 5. Again into 2, if you send this side becomes 2. Practice the students this type of questions by changing the numbers, the signs, whatever it is there. More and more. No need to do the entire problem. Entire problem you have by hearted. First 3 steps, last 3 steps, writing perfectly. Where the problem is coming? Only in these 3 steps. So practice these type of problems more and more and more. No need that only teacher has to give these type of problems. Students also can create. What is that? 6 plus root 2. You write 11 plus 3 root 7. You can create your own problems. Only teachers will give us problems, then only we have to practice. It is not for the sake of teachers. We are the students who have to write exam, not the teachers. So students have to practice these type of problems more and more to get good marks. So this is the man type of real numbers. Next, polynomials. Here, as already I have said, visualization and representation, they can give these type of problems also. Here if you observe this graph, the parabola, one is towards downside, one is facing upwards. Both are touching x-axis in 2 distinct points. In this case, we can apply quadratic equation as well as polynomial. Delta greater than 0. A is when parabola faces downwards. What is the standard form of quadratic polynomial? Standard form ax square plus bx plus c. When a is greater than 0, parabola will face upwards. A is less than 0, parabola will face downwards. Suppose 5x square minus 7x plus 10. This is a value. What is a value here? Plus 5. Plus 5 means greater than 0. Definitely the parabola will be in this shape. Next, this one. Minus 3x square plus 11 minus 5x. X square coefficient is this. A is equal to minus 3. Negative. So parabola will face downwards. They may ask this type of questions also. Why? This concept is covered in textbook. So these type of concepts we have to practice more. Here parabola is touching at only one point. Delta is equal to 0. Here parabola is not touching. So delta less than 0. Already we have seen this model in 4 marks question. What is the shape? Parabola. Parabola. How many points it intersecting at x-axis? Those are called zeros. Minus 1 and 4. Sum of zeros, product of zeros. Okay, those type of problems you can practice. Next, this one also, linear polynomial, quadratic polynomial, cubic polynomial. Their standard forms you learn, their graphs also you can practice. Pair of linear equations. These three models we have in our textbook. Parallel lines, condition, A1 by A2 is equal to B1 by B2 not equal to C1 by C2. A1, all three are different intersecting lines. All three ratios are equal, coincident lines. So in this chapter, already we know that one 8 marks question is guaranteed. 33A, 33B. Both questions will be from this chapter only. So practice more and more graphs. And without graph, we can solve pair of linear equations in two methods. One is substitution method, another is elimination method. Those methods also you have to practice. Quadratic equations. So as already I have said, delta, discriminant values. Three types of questions they can ask. Find the discriminant of quadratic equation. Find the nature of quadratic equation. Third one, if the roots are equal, delta is equal to 0, find the value of k. These type of questions you have to learn. And factorization, quadratic formula method. Quadratic formula already we have explained. So if you practice these type of problems, it is more than enough. So next golden chapter, coordinate geometry. So in this entire chapter we have only three formulae. Distance between 2 points, root of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. Remaining two problems, section formula. Section m1 x2 plus m2 x1 by m1 plus m2, m1 y2 plus m2 y1 by m1 plus m2. Next one, midpoint formula. Midpoint x1 plus x2 by 2, y1 plus y2 by 2. So in this chapter, students have to remember the ratios, midpoint, points of trisection, and making the segment into 4 equal parts. Midpoint means what are the ratios you have to apply. 1:1. Here 1, here 1. Then that point is called midpoint. Trisection means 3 equal parts. Midpoint means 2 equal parts. 3. Which numbers you have to add to get 3? 1 and 2. 2 and 1. So one time we will take 1:2, one time we will take 2:1. 4 equal parts. That means total should be 4. What are the 3 possible ratios? 1:3, 2:2, 3:1. So these ratios students have to keep in mind. And easiest chapter and maximum marks. Out of 100 we can get 10% of the marks in this chapter. Just only 2 formulae. Midpoint also will come under section only. D is equal to root of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. Section formula, m1 x2 plus m2 x1, that formula. If you remember those 2 formulae, you can do almost each and every problem of this chapter, but this chapter needs practice. And one problem regarding parallelogram. I want to stress here, in exam, no need to give parallelogram. They may give the quadrilateral name as rhombus, rectangle, square. Instead of parallelogram, we have learned that question is only parallelogram, but in public exam they have asked rectangle, square, rhombus. No problem. In all these 4 quadrilaterals, there is one common property. What is that common property? Diagonals bisect each other. Same property we use in parallelogram. You apply in rectangle, square, rhombus. So name changed, but process is same. Process remains same. but మన పబ్లిక్ ఎగ్జామ్ లో మనకి ఇది రాలేదే, అవుట్ ఆఫ్ సిలబస్, నో క్వశ్చన్. మనకు ప్రాపర్టీస్ అందుకే ముందే రావాలి. యూ హావ్ టు లర్న్ వాట్ ఆర్ ద ప్రాపర్టీస్ ఆఫ్ రెక్టాంగిల్, రాంబస్, స్క్వేర్ అండ్ పారాగ్రామ్. ఏది ఇచ్చినా కూడా సేమ్ ఫార్ములా, మిడ్ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ ఏసీ is equal to midpoint of BD. Okay. Next. Surface areas and volumes. See, because lack of time, I am unable to explain all the mind maps. If I get any opportunity in the next class, whatever chapters we did not cover in this session, I will. Okay, students and teachers, all the best for exams. We'll meet in the next session. Thank you very much.